Yeah, I mean, I think the goal is just to not look like you in the Houston Rockets uniform.
Yeah.
Is ultimately the goal for us. Like, we don't want to.
It ended for Larry Bird Celtics. It ended for Isaiah Thomas Pistons. It ended for Michael Jordan Bulls, The Last Dance.
Absolutely.
It ended for Tim Duncan and Parker and Ginobili. It always ends.
Hey, man, I never punch down. Draymond's a good player. We're not on the same level.
Charles Barkley doesn't argue to win. Most of the time, he doesn't even bother arguing at all. When Barkley feels someone isn't on his level, he stays calm. No yelling. No anger. He just drops one brutal line on their entire career and walks away like it's nothing. And last week, a four-time NBA champion learned exactly how that feels on live TV. Because Draymond Green did something almost nobody in sports media dares to do. He went straight at Charles Barkley. Not anywhere else. On inside the NBA. In Barkley's seat. On Barkley's own network. But what happened after that wasn't some heated back and forth. It wasn't even a real debate. For the next 72 hours, everyone watched a complete shutdown. Charles stayed patient. He waited. Looked Draymond dead in the eye. Then said one sentence that completely ended the conversation.
Hey, man, I never punch down. Draymond's a good player. We're not on the same level.
This is the story of how it all went down. And why, when Charles Barkley finally answered back, the whole basketball world came to the same conclusion. He was absolutely right. But to understand the moment that ended everything, you first have to understand the room where it happened. Inside the NBA. The biggest basketball studio show ever made. And this time, Draymond Green wasn't just stopping by for a quick guest appearance. He was sitting at the desk. Right beside legends. Hall of Famers. Talking like an equal. He was filling in for Shaquille O'Neal. The same time, the Warriors had just been knocked out of the playoffs. And for the first time in years, their dynasty looked like it was falling apart right in front of everyone. Then, just before the show cuts to commercial, Draymond shares something personal. A private conversation he had with his head coach.
Well, Steve grabbed both of us, and he said, I just wanted to take this moment. Like, I just don't know. I don't know if we'll have this moment again. So I just want to take this moment and thank you guys, and it was a special moment. The first thing Travis said when we walked off was like, man, I'm so happy Steve was in the moment. Like, and he didn't miss that moment. But like going down the stretch, you can't help but think like, is this it? Is this
That's the energy in the room. Quiet. Honest. Reflective. A four-time champion sitting there, looking straight at the possible end of a dynasty. Draymond keeps talking. Not like a loud trash talker. More like someone thinking out loud about what comes next. He talks about his future. His contract. The uncertainty hanging over everything. And then he admits something important. The decision about what happens next hasn't been made yet. Not by him. Not by the Warriors. Still sitting there in the middle waiting.
Yet.
Right? Like, I have an option, as you see. If they don't want me back, I'm not just going to take the option. Like, this has always been a partnership, right? You want me, I want you, it works out. And so I do think they want me back.
Feels real. Feels honest. For once, Draymond isn't being treated like just another player answering questions. He's being treated like a partner in the conversation. Like someone whose opinion actually matters. And in that moment, he opens up completely. Then he starts explaining why the season fell apart. Why everything that once looked unstoppable suddenly started breaking apart piece by piece.
But yet you got Jimmy Butler out with a knee injury. You got Moses Moody out with a knee injury. You got Steph Curry out with a knee injury. And we're just free-falling pretty much from All-Star break on.
3 bad knees. One dynasty falling apart in real time. And one player still holding on to the belief that he belongs in Golden State for the rest of his career.
I don't see myself in another uniform, but I am also understanding of this business and know that it takes them to want me as much as I want them in order for it to continue on.
This is Draymond at his most real. No trash talk. No tough guy act. Just a player sitting there completely exposed, talking honestly about his future while sitting next to a Hall of Famer who's been in this business for 26 years. That's the setup. That's the atmosphere. And that's the exact moment Draymond Green decided to take his shot. Charles Barkley doesn't flinch, doesn't interrupt, doesn't react emotionally. He just looks straight at Draymond on live television and says the thing nobody else in basketball is willing to say out loud.
Well, it's over for the Warriors.
There you go.
I mean, no disrespect.
But disrespect is. No disrespect.
It ends for every old team. You have your run, you get old, y'all let Clay go. You and Steph on the backside of y'all careers. It just passed you by. Y'all had one of the greatest runs ever. If you think you're not in the playoffs, you're not gonna make. You think you're gonna get healthier for next year? You're just gonna get older. That's no disrespect. You guys had one of the greatest runs of all time. If you want to compete, you're gonna have to leave there. If Steph wants to compete, he's gonna have to leave there.
It's over. Not next year. Not sometime down the road. Right now. And then Barkley does what makes his words hit even harder. He backs it up with facts. Numbers. Reality. He lays out the math piece by piece like a man explaining something everyone already knows but nobody wants to admit.
What if they bring the right pieces in?
They can't bring the right pieces. Why? Because they don't have no cap space.
Okay.
They don't have any cap space.
No salary cap space. No room to move. No easy fix coming. According to Barkley, the Warriors weren't just struggling. They were trapped. And then he does something even more dangerous. He reaches back into NBA history. 'Cause once Charles starts comparing your situation to teams that already collapsed before you already know where the conversation is heading.
It ended for Larry Bird Celtics. It ended for Isaiah Thomas Pistons. It ended for Michael Jordan Bulls, the last dance.
Absolutely.
It ended for Tim Duncan and Parker and Ginobili. It always ends. Sports are for young people. You hope to have a great long career, but sports, nobody wins when they're 37, 30.
Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, Michael Jordan, Tim Duncan. Those are the names Charles Barkley puts next to the Warriors. The greatest dynasties, the greatest eras, teams that ruled the league until time finally caught them too. Most players would hear that and take it as respect, compliment, a sign that their run mattered. Most players would smile, agree, and move on. But Draymond Green isn't most players.
Yeah, I mean, I think the goal is just to not look like you in the Houston Rockets uniform.
Yeah.
Is ultimately the goal for us. Like, we don't want to.
The room doesn't even get a chance to breathe. The moment hangs there for half a second and then it snaps. No pause. No slow reaction. Just instant tension.
Wow, Draymond just dissed Charles Barkley on there. Our goal is to not look like you in a Rocket.
Barkley doesn't flinch. Not even for a second. Right there in real time, he stands his ground. No hesitation. No softening it. He plants his flag in the middle of the conversation and makes it clear. He's not backing off what he said.
Because this conversation wasn't going to finish on Inside the NBA. It was going to finish on his terms, in his time, on his words. The next morning, the Dan Patrick Show. No desk, no four-man crew, no cameras cutting away, just Charles Barkley and a microphone. This is where it starts.
2 in a row. Twice in the same segment. That's not luck. That's Barkley making a point. It feels like he's not even reacting anymore. He's just keeping score in real time of how badly someone is trying and failing to land a shot on him. And then he stops. Not because he's done, but because he's choosing to wait. Because this wasn't going to end on Inside the NBA. Not in that room. Not on that schedule. It was going to end on his terms. In his time. With his words. The next morning comes. The Dan Patrick Show. No studio desk full of legends. No crew feeding reactions. No quick cuts to save anyone. Just Charles Barkley. And a microphone. And this is where it really begins.
Well, number one, I don't ever take anything. You can never take personal shots at guys. You know, I've said that in my 26 years. My critiques of every player or coach is only about the situation. He took a shot at me, but I don't get offended because other guys, I've said things about guys, and they took personal shots at me.
26 years on television. And in all that time, Charles Barkley says he's never made it personal. Not once. Just the situation. Just the game. Just the truth as he sees it. No hidden agenda. No grudges. No settling scores. And then he does something almost no one in sports media ever does. He admits it out loud.
Last time you had me on the show, I told you I regretted those Rocket years, especially the last two, which I sucked as a player. But I wouldn't turn down no free money. I had 2 years. I had 2 years left on my contract.
He admits the Houston years didn't work. Even with Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler beside him, it just wasn't right. He says it straight. No sugarcoating. He even goes further. He says he wasn't good at the end. And just like that, he takes away the very thing Draymond was trying to use against him. He owns it first. Completely. It's like he grabs the argument, pulls the bullet out of it, and hands it back with nothing left to fire. Then he shifts. 'Cause now he's not defending himself anymore. He's explaining what actually went wrong.
My issue with Draymond, if he wants to do this, be in TV, is get a sense of humor. He takes everything personally. You were just saying, look, it's over with the Warriors. And now he can't say it, but you were just saying it's over. And then he made it personal with you instead of...
That's the core of it. The whole point of the takedown. You wanted the seat on TV. You wanted the chair. You wanted to be treated like an analyst, like an equal voice in the room. But you can't do the job. You take everything personal. You hear criticism and turn it into a fight instead of a conversation. And then Barkley doesn't stop there. He brings in the numbers.
The Warriors haven't been relevant for 3 or 4 years. They've been in the play-in. So when you're in the play-in, you're not in the playoffs. You're in the play. And when you're in the play-in, the Warriors been in the play-in, I think, 4 straight years. So they've been irrelevant.
So for 4 straight years, they've been stuck in the play-in. Not real playoff runs. Not deep runs. Just the play-in. That's the reality Barkley lays out. Calm, direct, and unfiltered. And that's the thing Draymond Green was trying to defend when he took that shot at him. A team that hasn't really been at the top for years. Then Barkley tightens the grip even more. 'Cause now it's not just about the stats. It's about the reason Draymond was even in that chair to begin with. And he closes the segment with one final sentence that cuts straight through everything. And exposes exactly why this moment even happened.
First place.
He took a personal shot at me, but I'm not sensitive. But yeah, it's been over in Golden State. I mean, if Golden State was relevant, he wouldn't be in the studio with me.
If the Warriors were still in the playoffs, Draymond Green wouldn't have been sitting on that set at all. He only got that chair because his season was already over. No run left. No games left. No pressure left. That's the part no one can argue with. Then Charles Barkley looks straight ahead. No extra drama. No build-up. And he says it. One sentence. Kind that doesn't just end a segment. Follows you for the rest of the year.
Hey, man, I never punched down. Draymond's a good player. We're not on the same level. So I can hear, but I don't have to respond to every time somebody says something about me.
Yeah.
Hey, this Draymond's a really good player. He's had a hell of a career, but we're not on the same level.
I never punched down. That's how Barkley frames it. Calm. Controlled. Calls Draymond what he is. A really good player. Not a legend. Not a Hall of Famer. Just a really good player who had a strong career. Then he draws the line. We're not on the same level. No rage. No insult. No emotion in his voice. Just a fact stated clearly. An 11-time All-Star. A 1993 NBA MVP. Using 2 simple sentences to set the boundary in stone. And the language matters. Past tense. He had a hell of a career. Not he has. Had. That shift hits harder than anything else. For the second time in 2 days, Barkley puts it on record. We are not the same level. And that's what makes it land so hard. It's not noise. It's not ego. It's credibility speaking. Kind of sentence only someone with that resume can say without it falling apart. And Barkley has that resume. Then the conversation spreads. Around the league. Players start weighing in. Jeff Teague, a 14-year NBA veteran, talking on Club 520 podcast.
I couldn't talk, that motherfucker.
Real psychos for sure. Yeah, I catch Dre putting somebody on Barkley's Houston Rocket years, man, average a double-double. He really got to be one of the most underrated players.
Even in those so-called bad years. The years Barkley himself said he wasn't at his best. The same years Draymond tried to turn into an argument against him. Barkley was still putting up real numbers. Still averaging a double-double. That part changes the tone of everything. 'Cause even at his lowest, he wasn't actually low. And Jeff Teague doesn't stop there. He keeps going.
He keeps going.
Oh, yeah. It's not favorable to Draymond, brother. Go ahead and put them up, Blue.
Boy.
We like numbers next to each other on here. The numbers look a little different, brother.
I just
Act
want to
like Barkley won one of them ones now.
Yeah, you MVP
One of
now.
1993 NBA MVP. Not in the conversation. Not a candidate. Not almost. The actual league MVP. The best player in the NBA that season. And then the numbers come in to back it up. Not opinions. Not narratives. Just production. Kind of stats that don't need framing because they already speak for themselves.
Chuck did that at 6'4" too, nigga.
Damn, what the nigga average? 27?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Barkley was
28
silly.
right here. That
Yeah,
nigga
man.
averaged a double-double his whole career besides his rookie season.
Yeah, Charles Barkley is one of the best guys who were
There you go.
Averaging 28 points. A double-double almost every single season. Not for a year or two. For a full Hall of Fame career. That's the part that puts everything into perspective. 'Cause it wasn't a peak. It was consistency at the highest level. And then comes the final voice in the conversation. Player who has actually shared the court with both of them. Not guessing. Not analyzing from a desk. But speaking from experience.
Both of them.
He's a Rocky.
Charles Barkley's better than Draymond Green, bro.
For sure. That's not,
now,
we're
God
not arguing that
I
one.
respect that career shit.
What year you
I
had?
love Draymond, but we ain't arguing that one.
Averaging 28 points. A double-double almost every single season. Not for a year or two. For a full Hall of Fame career. That's the part that puts everything into perspective. 'Cause it wasn't a peak. It was consistency at the highest level. And then comes the final voice in the conversation. Player who has actually shared the court with both of them. Not guessing. Not analyzing from a desk. But speaking from experience.
After.
And I know he don't want to say it, but and listen, you know, everybody get mad when I say this. Old people don't get healthy. Old people die.
That's the part Draymond Green couldn't sit with. That's the part that didn't land the way it was meant to. And that's why he went across the desk and tried to swing at the one person in basketball you almost never beat in a live argument. Charles Barkley isn't just a great former player. He's not just a Hall of Famer either. He's something different. A 26-year television voice who built his whole reputation on saying the uncomfortable truth out loud. Taking the backlash. taking the criticism, and never once backing away from it. He's been called everything over the years. He's owned his mistakes on national TV. And in all that time, he has never been publicly outdueled by an active player trying to debate him. Draymond Green thought he was sitting next to a peer, someone on the same level at the same desk. But he didn't leave that moment hearing that. He left hearing something very different. In just 2 sentences, the message was clear, not the same level. And that's where the conversation ends.